Welcome back to Full Circle. How are you guys doing? I love to hear from you. So please send in your comments, your feedback. 111 That is our SMS line. And on social media, Switch TV KE, Instagram, Switch TV Kenya on Facebook, Wakali Mary on Facebook and Instagram as well. Right now, though, Yani, it's time for Book Circle. Well, like I said earlier, on Book Circle today, I am hosting the author of a book that I'm currently reading. I had to say that slowly before the Mogikoyo in me just does the thing. We have Doreen Eshinali Kamala in the building. Welcome, welcome. She is the author of Toxic Soul Ties. If you've been on my IG, then you've been seeing me putting excerpts of this particular book. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Even just before we get into the book, Doreen,
Yes.
who are you? What do you do? Because now I know you do something else because that's how I got your number.
Yeah.
Please talk to us about that. Like, who is Doreen generally?
My name is Ardori Eshinali Hamala. I just turned 30
Yay!
years old. Yeah, I'm a marketer at a company called Vituzote along Mombasa Road. But in my free time, I do writing a lot.
Okay.
Like,
did it start recently? I mean, you've always been that girl. In high school, you were just writing,
yes,
scribbling.
I won't even lie to you. I haven't grown up in a proper environment to say, so I just
What do you
started
mean
writing.
not proper?
As in away from my mom and dad, just in boarding school, and then being home. I have different house girls at home because mom was away, dad was away, so I just started writing in my diaries. Like, I still have all of them from around class 6 years until now. I still
6
write.
years.
Yeah.
You were journaling at 6.
As I was just writing my feelings because
Yes.
I don't have anyone to talk to.
That's how it started.
Yes.
6 years old.
Just
You have all of them.
I do have all of them. I carry them. If I move from my parents' house. I have them from my first house. I have them. Like, I just move with them. It's nice to look back and,
You're like, this is the girl.
exactly.
that I
Especially,
used to
as a
be.
girl, I'm not having someone to explain to you about the feelings you're feeling, your emotions, about boys, about
Yeah, like
now you
I'm
have that
just-
fast
I'm
crash.
changing.
Yeah, exactly. You have
Yeah.
your periods.
Yes.
You
I don't even understand. Why am I so moody?
exactly. So that's why I just started writing, and this is my second book actually.
Yes.
Yeah, the first one was Life Before 25.
Okay.
Yeah, that one was just writing about my life, honestly.
Yeah, I
Just
will look for that one. Is this anything to do with your life?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
we'll
say
get to
yes,
it. We'll get to it. I'm just saving it. I'm saving it, guys, because what it is intense. It's very, very deep as well, and it makes you vulnerable, even as a reader. It
Yeah.
makes you think a lot about your life and the things that you allow to happen to you.
Exactly.
So, the first book, before it was called
Life
Life
Before
Before 25.
Yeah.
I haven't read that one. I'll look for that one. Of course. But you're here. I'll get it. I'll definitely get it. So that was just you and your life before.
That's it. Just how I grew up from my mom not being there, dad not being there, and then going into boarding school in class 2, having all those feelings. It was in Mumias, so just learning how to be myself without anyone telling me, because of course the matrons would tell you, you can't throw everything at them.
No.
Then high school, I moved from I was in boarding. I went to a day school, which was a mixed school.
Okay.
As in, it was such a change, having
Yes.
boys with me, and then someone telling me they like me. And then
Dealing with all of that, and then it's sort of like illegal. This is not a conversation we should be having.
Exactly.
Then is it wrong? Are they supposed to say that to me?
And then, it was in Nairobi, and all my life I was in Mumias, in
Yes.
some Ocho school,
Yeah.
huko ndani, and then coming to Aga Khan High School.
Yes.
And I'm meeting boys, Nairobians. Everything was just new to me, so I had to learn, pick up, getting into trouble, just trying to fit in. That, trying to be.
I don't think I'll ever complain at going because I went to boarding class 4. I mean, class 2, I think I died, but I survived. So let's talk about toxic soul ties. And let me just read if you've been on my IG, then I've posted this before, but let me just read it out for anybody else who's not been there. Just a few thoughts arranged in form of words, worthy enough to touch your hearts. Believe me, they do touch your hearts. And this is it for me. The back of it says, it seems to me that love could be labeled poison and we'd drink it anyways. And there's so many ways in this book that we take love as poison.
True
And we
story.
just sip it. Na tunasema tuongezewe. Nyongezewe, please, top up. So tell us about this book. What was going on with you? What was the inspiration behind it?
Well, this book, I was in a moment where I wouldn't say I had left the relationship.
So this, tuambie kabisa, mimi najua mimi nimeisoma. So I just thought about the person who hasn't. So what is it about? Tuanzie tu hapo.
It's about a toxic relationship that I was in myself. I experienced it around, I think I had dated someone for like 4 years. I don't care if he's listening, but yeah, we had dated like for 4 years. But we were staying together at some point, and then I had to move out. It was a whole situation. But this one I wrote after I've left the relationship, though when you finish the ending it doesn't seem like I left, because that is how I wanted it to. You know, some people are not able to leave, so I didn't want to make it, you know, to make them leave because of me. So I just had to. Most people stay in a relationship, in a toxic relationship, but for me in this book I extended it in a way that I wasn't able to leave, because even after I left I was always thinking about him, always wanting to go back, always being there at the, you know, at the doorstep, just wanting to be in it. I don't know why, what he was giving me. Sometimes I think about it, I'm like, ugh,
What is going on?
I don't know. Maybe
So 4 years in, like when you talk about toxic, what was really going on?
it was about the way that person was treating me. As in, it's more of, I can't explain it really until maybe you've lived it to understand, because you know, you can find your friend or your sister, they tell you about a relationship and you wonder, why are you not living this? Why are
It's
you,
the question
especially for
everybody
women.
asks. Mbona Wendy?
I don't know.
Your children deserve better. Have you looked yourself in the mirror? You're beautiful. You don't deserve this.
Yeah.
But somehow, you just don't.
You just don't live. I don't know. Unless you experience it yourself to understand the difficulties of living such a relationship. But for me, I thought writing it would help, you know, many other people. So I decided to just jot down my feelings of how I was feeling in that relationship at the moment.
Okay.
And trying to think of what he was feeling also at you know, maybe because he never said much.
Yeah.
So just played it in my mind.
And that was creative. The creative bit of you, just to think maybe this is what he was.
Yeah, maybe he was going through a problem, so
Yes.
he had to throw it at me, because now I was the closest person to him. So that, I think that's how most relationships are. We all have problems.
Yes, we
but
do.
now sometimes someone will use you as that, you know, that shield all the time.
Yeah.
Something bad happens, it's on you.
And even you, as the other person who's experiencing all of this, and you feel the need to save them, to help them. So it becomes a vicious cycle of, I want to leave, but look at him, he needs me. Will he survive without me? Not knowing it's also you who needs them. So
Exactly.
you're using this as an excuse for yourself as well to just stay for a bit longer.
And the question you ask yourself, we've been together, or rather you tell yourself to stick, we've been together for so long, you know, it's been 4 years, it's been 5 years. By the time I start knowing someone else like I know him, you know, you find yourself feeling you don't want to leave it. You just don't want to leave him.
But even the things that you know about him, when you say all the things I know about him, I won't get to know something else. But the things you know about him are not healthy things as well. But then you marinate in all of that. It's just like at heri sijui mwenye sijui unasemanga nini like Swahili. The devil you know, then sijui the angel angoa.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you talk about, and even your style of writing this book is not your normal novel story that you read. No, it's totally different. I love that the chapters are very small, like they're very short rather. So this is, and after every chapter there's a reminder, so something that's, it's sort of like a take home from that chapter. So like for the very first one, I think it says see, this is a whole chapter by itself. So this up to here, it makes you just want to read. So this up to here, and then immediately after you're done, there's a tiny reminder over here. So this one says, love yourself enough that people's departures don't feel like funerals, and their absence are the catalysts to love yourself even harder. Are these things that you learned later? Because they're so profound, Doreen.
Yes, later. I don't know. I wouldn't, you know, most people, I would say, I don't know if they've felt love. You know, this is something that not most people are able to experience in a lifetime. So I would say in this, I wrote this because I felt like it was love to me. As in, maybe that was my definition of love at that moment. And I hope that I feel something different, in the future.
Yes.
Or, but at that moment I felt like this meant love to me. So, and not many people experience or live in a relationship having love, because you have to foresee that person's flaws completely. Like you have to just, and I think it came from having, not my parents being there. I've always wanted just to be, to just find a genuine person, love, for my children.
So it was, I don't know what love is, but this feels like it.
It feels like it since
looks at me.
Since my parents didn't grow up together. I didn't see that. I didn't have someone to explain to me what love is, what hate is, what
you feel like should be like.
Yes, what it should be like. So for me, I felt like this was love, and a lot of us, we're in that circle. We feel in a relationship like this is how I should experience love, and maybe it could be different. You never know, but it's up to someone's experience. Everyone has their own definition of love.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, this was part of it. I wouldn't say that I loved him completely, as in I left a bit of myself after I left. I felt like I still have something inside of me to love someone else.
Oh yeah, you didn't lose it completely.
I did. No, I
but
didn't.
You loved yourself enough to walk away. That means you left with something that was still good and alive in you.
And also, it didn't make me not. Sometimes, in this generation, someone says some people are like, I will never love again. Yes. I'm just done. Like now, it's just to have fun. I don't think people should do that. You should. I don't think it's a nice way to live.
Without experiencing.
Not even experiencing. Like just being I don't care, as in, being like because one person hurt me, or I came from a background that's like this, it doesn't have to make you feel like someone else can't love you, like you can't experience it. At least love yourself. At least
that's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes it becomes a ripple effect of because I was hurt, now I continue hurting other people along the way. And did you ever at some point when you were walking away, when you were leaving and coming back and all of that, did you know? Well, I'm sure deep down you knew that this was not healthy for you, that it was not good for you.
After some time. Yes.
But you experienced it the whole time, just being there, giving them chances and making excuses for them.
Yeah, I could
feel it. Not having your parents or someone you can go to. Did you talk to anyone at that point?
Yeah, I did have friends, but maybe I felt like sometimes you can have friends who don't take it seriously. Like they just tell you advice jokingly, but they mean it on their side. But you're like, maybe anasema tu hivyo because hajui what I'm going, like haja experience this sort of relationship. But later when you leave, that's when you feel like your friend was really being there for you. You were just blindsided.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
And your parents, your mom, did you ever have a conversation with them?
Weirdly, I left home from my dad's home. I left home to go and stay with this guy. Not that one I just used to come and pick my things and I leave. And the next Sunday, I'll come and pick a few things and leave. So my dad one day told me, you know what, I'm just going to let you do whatever you want to do. As in, I'm not going to force you. You're grown up. You're past 18. Yes. I can't grab you and force you to be here. So you just go on. But then he let me go, but we used to talk. It didn't ruin our relationship.
Okay.
But now when I came back, of course, after I left the relationship, I came back. He told me, I'm not going to even ask what happened. I'm not going to try and investigate. I hope you learned your lesson. And that was it. We've never talked about it until today.
Oh my God.
He just told me, I hope you learned your lesson. It seemed like you really wanted to go out there and figure it out. So
yes.
Yeah, I'm just glad you're back home.
And that was it.
And that was it. We never talked about it.
So even in writing this book, did you have to go through therapy, or this was your therapy?
This was my therapy, because honestly, I won't lie to you, I would read it all the time, like trying to correct it and cry and cry and cry until I stopped. That's when I felt like, okay, I'm done. Like I'm done with him.
Yes.
Because through writing, he would still call me and I would find myself picking it up. he'd want us to meet. So all the time I would, just reread it all the time before even I started selling it, just on my computer. And then I just stopped crying, and I'm like, phew. Like, done. Honestly, even now when I read, I feel like nothing.
But that took a while as well.
It did take a while.
And I think you're among the lucky ones who had an escape, who had a way to release. Because most people just go through this and then they just move on to the next relationship.
Exactly.
Or whatever they decide to do with their lives after that is not something... They haven't taken care of what happened to them.
Yeah.
They haven't released it. They have not relived it and, learned their lesson from that.
Yeah, that's true.
We are taking a very short commercial break. We will be right back. This is Full Circle with Mwikali. Welcome back to Full Circle with Mwikali. I see your feedback on Facebook. Y'all are watching and I love it. Irene Nyakuno, good morning Mwikali. Watching Kalale Wayuna. Lizzie Mwitu Mwikamba from 001. Elijah Kimani Wakandana Sima watching with Shoshowatwana. Abut Water from County 039. Thank you for tuning in. From Kitale Kibomet, we have Kalale. From Githurai 45 Fountain tuned in. Melanie Njoki Wambo Bessing looking good all the way. Kiprono Meeting says, I want the book. We will let you know how you can get the book. Looking at our SMSs, I see questions about getting the book. Hi Mwikali, I'm Leah, tuned in from Nyandarua County. How can I get Doreen's book, Toxic Soul Ties? Morning, Brian here says, how can I get one please? Hi Mwikali, how can I get the book? That's another SMS. Hi Mwikali, I'm so touched. I can bet it wasn't love. I've been in the same situation and I guess he was dating a narcissist. You should get us a psychiatrist to explain it to the ladies. Nobody can tell us unless you are fortunate enough to get someone to talk to. And at that point, you didn't have anybody that you were talking to.
No.
And would you say that when you look back, these things that he was doing to you, the way he was treating you, was it intentional? Did he know what he was doing to you?
I wouldn't say it was intentional. Okay, that's how I felt. He was just going through also his own issues. I can't, maybe at some point, maybe, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what he was thinking, but he just had a lot going on also with his family and his own self, because there's a point he had to go to rehab because of, issues with alcohol and stuff. So I was just trying to save him. So I didn't see that maybe he was doing some things intentionally. Maybe after I left, that's when I started thinking,
maybe he didn't love me enough to treat me well, and after writing the book and selling it and sharing it, how's the interaction been with other women or men as well, who've read your book and could relate to it?
Well, I got so much support, and everyone was like, it's so hard. People don't talk about these things. Like, ladies just, they go through it, and it was so brave for you to even put it in words. It gives another woman, a thought of sharing with even a friend, because most people just keep it to themselves. But I say, I'm not a secretive person, honestly, because there's no point in, of being secretive. Even though something happened to you that is so traumatizing, you don't have to be so secretive about it, because at the end of the day, you really suffer. And now in 2021, there's a lot of mental issues.
That's true.
Yeah, as in, what's the point? I just talk to people at work, even though we are not so close, Mwikali. I would meet you and tell you, honestly, Mwikali, I'm going through this. Or I would just say, I would use a friend. There's this friend of mine who's going to, but I'm just trying to save myself from a lot of thoughts, a lot of agony. So I would just tell you, Mwikali, there's this friend of mine who's going through this, yet it's me. Yeah, because I don't want also to just be open like that to someone I don't.
But then that gives you relief. That gives you, even when you hear somebody else, what they will think about it, or they will do, advice on what to do on that. The fact that you shared with them helps you sort of like cope.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and apart from writing, because I'll just keep on writing in my diary all the time, and the only people who are reading is probably the angels. I don't know. Yeah, so I make, a point of just talking to, we don't have to be close,
No.
but I just share. Like at work, where I work, I just talk, because what's secrets for? I just share. Oh, but then my boyfriend did this the other day. Then people, because you're all women,
Yes.
people will engage,
Yes.
Exactly. No,
That must
utapata
be
maybe,
wangu.
utapata maybe she was really wanting someone to talk to. Now you've just opened.
Well. So by you opening up, you're helping them also open up about their situations.
Yeah.
So reminder 13 in this book. Interesting. Listen. Darling, while you're praying for someone who mistreats you to change their behavior, you are someone else's prayer. Shift your energy from those you know don't deserve you. Wish them well. Thank them for the lessons and unpack your soul in spaces that celebrate you. Beautiful. Not easy.
Not easy.
Not easy. What did it take for you to walk away? I know you don't talk about that at the end of the book, like you mentioned, but what did it take? What was that? This is it. I know I've left. I know I've come back.
Well, honestly, it was the cheating, which maybe used to happen, but I just found out, like, I was there when it was happening. Like, I found out eye to eye. So I was just like, this is it. I just left. I don't deal well. I don't think any woman would deal well with cheating. But if it was happening before and then you find it, even though your friends would tell you a million times, and you're not, but you find it, in your house, it's just done deal. Unless you're, I don't know, if you're stupid. I don't know.
It's too much to take. And I think you are also, dealing with so many other things.
Exactly.
So on top of all these other things, I walk in and this is what I find.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just went back home to my dad because that's the only place I wanted to be. Yeah.
And did you ever, like sort of, how you... Let me just meet him for a cup of coffee.
But of course, oh yes, I won't lie to you. Of course, that those things. It's not easy to deal with a breakup. It's not easy for anyone, even a man. It's not easy. So there was that time I would meet him. I would want to know why did
why did you do that?
Exactly.
Why?
And
they never have an answer. Did they have an answer?
No, they just said, oh, okay, he had his own reasons. She came, we were just talking. I just wanted someone to talk to me. You're being distant. Now I'm being distant, and I've been there. It's, it took some time, but
it's like she was just there.
She was just
she
there.
magically appeared like a genie. I didn't call her. She didn't give directions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you've not been there emotionally for me, so I had to find someone who's there. Sometimes you just look at someone and you're like, really? Okay.
So eventually it's your fault.
Exactly. It was my fault.
And most of the times the things that happened, because there's a part of in your book where you even have a confrontation with your father-in-law at that point. Well, the boyfriend's
dad.
Yes. Did it actually happen, or was it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Please tell us about that.
He felt like I was ruining this guy. Okay, he had his issues with alcohol.
Yes.
I won't lie to you.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was a little bit extreme. But he felt that I was the one who was making him drink, because all the time he would call and he's out, we were together. So he felt like it was my problem.
The father
yes,
thought that you are the reason this guy is drinking, because when the father calls, the two of you are
we're
out.
always together. Yeah, maybe we are out or something, or maybe if he delays to go to work, he'll say I was with Doreen. Yeah, and maybe he's hangover. So he felt like I was not a good girlfriend for his son.
Ni kama ulikuwa unafaa kukua kumguide.
Yeah, and I was not doing that.
Yeah,
so it was just, so he was really mad at me. Entirely his family was mad at me, even the mom. I don't know, they just felt like I wasn't I wasn't the right one for him. And also maybe he was not also getting advice from his family, about the relationship, because the family was against it. So it made him he can't go and talk to them about our issues. So he was just also there in limbo like me. So it was it was
And I
either.
think there's also like a huge problem here when me as a mother is depending on you to save my child from alcoholism.
Exactly.
And I am the mother, or I am the father, I'm the sister, but I'm angry at the person they chose to be with because that person is not doing my job.
Exactly. So that
Wrong.
was very wrong.
Okay. Hi, Mukali. Can I read the book online? Sophie Kinaya from Narok. Is that possible?
Yes, it is possible.
How can they do that?
Or I could have to send it to them
Oh,
as a
okay.
soft copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's possible, but probably you'll have to buy it, and then she can send it directly to you. It's not like it's a link somewhere that
Yeah.
you can just go and read. So, hi, Mukali and Viola, and I have been through through such a toxic relationship, and to know that there are people out here going through such a thing makes me feel better. And we should get more people sharing their experiences to help ladies out here. So just to know that they're not alone and that there's a way out, because Doreen, you were able to leave. And yes, maybe it might have taken a while.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy,
No, it wasn't.
but
Wasn't.
eventually we have
I
a
did.
book. We are very happy. We are happy people. Hi, Mikali Shoi Kolit Sana. Ni Yvonne kutoka Gakoe. Where can I find that book? We'll be answering that question. I think there's so many of those. We'll be answering that question once and for all in a bit. How can someone get out of a toxic relationship?
I think it's just up to you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't tell you how to leave a toxic relationship because there's that moment, even when you decide to leave, there's that period where you'll always go back a little bit. You decide to leave, and then there's that moment you keep going back until something just snaps in your head, and you just decide to go.
Yeah.
There's no way I can advise a
There's
woman.
no, like-
yeah, it's just up to you to decide.
And your timing is totally different from other people's
Exactly.
timing. So it might have been 4 years for Doreen, but yours might be, I love me a bit too much. Or you read this book just before you got into a toxic
Exactly.
relationship, and
then
you
you
have
see-
answers based on this one. So it's different. I don't think there's a particular like route
Yeah, exactly.
you should take. It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. Hi, Mikhail and Yvonne, watching from Kabondo. How can I get the book, please? We'll be answering that as well. The reason why people stay in abusive relationship is the fear of the unknown, because you don't want to start something new to a point of normalizing the abnormal.
Yeah, that's
Would you say
true.
that is what happened to you? Were you scared of starting over?
Well, there was that because it's not like the guy had everything that women look for nowadays, but it was just he was stable, he was financially stable, he was just not mentally stable and emotionally
Okay.
stable.
Stable, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Hey, pretties, you look lovely. Thank you. And my question is, my cousin got his husband cheating on her and she's all stressed. Please help. You've been turned psychologist, therapist today. Doreen, please take it, embrace it, and find an answer.
She needs to just maybe have a conversation with him first of all. Understand where the problem is, because they can't say that leave completely or run away. They both know why they're in that situation. So
Yeah.
sometimes communication helps, because for me the relationship I'm in right now.
You are in a relationship, Doreen.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's so far so good. It's all about communication. Also, that relationship taught me a lot, and I don't argue with this one that I'm in. I just walk away and then find a time when we're both calm, because in this book, as you've read it, there was physical abuse.
Yes.
And that taught me a lot. Sometimes men, they'll hit you and then say it was your fault, you provoked me.
Yes.
You provoked me. You said this. You shouldn't have said that. Why shouldn't I have said that when you have said something that's more hurtful to me?
Yeah.
So nowadays, I just walk away, first of all. I just go.
Let's just calm down and then we'll
Please,
have a conversation.
Yeah, I just go, because I was done with that. I was just done.
What are the telltale signs of, like someone is, abusing you emotionally or physically, or they're narcissistic what are some of the things that you picked out from then that saizi ukiangalia uko like, I am not walking down that path. Not today.
There's sometimes when you know, people who blame you for their own mistakes.
Reverse psychology.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's, I don't know, I wouldn't say all men, but most.
There's a huge chunk of them.
Yes.
We know.
Yes. Like they use the blame game and say you provoked me, or you say this, you shouldn't have done that as a woman. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said this, you know.
Yeah.
So they blame it on you. Like, if you didn't say that, then we wouldn't be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they make you apologize for even something that they did to you.
Exactly.
And because you reacted, you got angry because they did something to you. You need to apologize for being angry.
Exactly. Or
No,
sometimes you
God.
can have an argument, and then you just push him a little bit, just a little touch. And then because he's already angry to a
Yes.
point, he slaps you, and then you ask, so why, later he'll say, it's because you pushed me. Really? I just, it's a tap.
It's a tap.
Yeah, but they just, everyone has their own problems, and I feel
Yeah.
like in relationship people should communicate, because with this issue of mental health, a lot, especially men, don't speak out as often as us girls. We
Yeah.
meet in a club and talk. We meet,
Yeah.
you come to my place, we have a good
talk.
conversation. But men don't do that. So even us as girls, we need to understand them in some way. That is the reason why in my relationship now, I walk away, because there's always that exchange. When you're angry, a lot of things happen. People kill themselves when,
Yeah.
So I would advise, just walk away and then come back later. You'll reach a common ground.
That's true. And you tried so many times to walk back, and you felt the need to be there for him and to hope that he changes, that maybe if I do this, maybe if I'm there more emotionally for him, then he won't do these things. Maybe if he goes for rehab and he comes back, then maybe. Did you ever at any point feel like you had gotten through to them in terms of he is changed now?
Oh yes, a couple of times.
Yeah.
But it was just for like a week or so. And then he goes back to I felt like that is who he was. I was just maybe trying to, hide it from myself.
Yes.
Yeah, because you can only be wronged a couple of times. You can't be someone can do the same thing to you so many times, and you keep on saying it's because he's maybe just emotionally unstable, or you can't always just find something to, to make you feel like he's good.
That's true.
Yeah, so
they can only change if they want to.
if they want to. Us women, we're easy to change, but men,
Ngumu kidogo.
yeah, as in they have to change. They have to want to change themselves.
Yes.
You can't make them change.
That's true.
Yeah, unless they love you so much.
Yes. They need to love you so much for
Yeah.
them to be able to want
Exactly.
to do it. It's not you making them.
Exactly.
It's just them wanting to be better for you.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you are blessed.
True.
We have SMSs. Hi, girls. I have a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 3 years, realized he's married, but once he caught me cheating, he acted worse, took my phone, forced me to call people I was cheating with. Now I have no freedom to...
Okay.
English. I have no freedom to talk to friends. No, nothing. But keeps threatening me if he finds me another time. I love this guy and he loves me. Help me. How can I peacefully walk away? That is joy. Wow, joy. He's married.
Yeah.
You are cheating. You have been caught cheating. He's made you call all the people you're cheating with, and now you don't have friends. Doreen.
I don't even know how to help her.
First of all, why? What? Don't be. He's married, so
Exactly. That's
where it ends.
leave.
Thank God you're sending this today, and Zulu is not here. This would have been a different conversation.
True story.
Hi, I'm Shamin. My husband cheated on me with my best friend and got her pregnant. What should I do? Your husband.
And your best friend.
She's pregnant. And you're asking what you should do. This is those moments for walk away. Do not be caught up in this confrontation with either of them. It's wrong on different levels. My husband brought in another wife into my matrimonial home. After being with him for 5 years, he was abusive, but I kept going. Now I'm stressed. I don't know where to start. I'm home now with my parents. We did a church wedding. My mother-in-law doesn't like me. This is Gladys Obiero.
Oh my. Those are very hard questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would advise her, when it goes to, I'm not married.
Yes.
So when it goes to topics about marriage, I try not to, I've not experienced that. I've lived with a man, but I've not experienced marriage because it's a different, it's a different bondage.
Yes.
Yeah. So
this is what? Well, if you decide to be, if you feel like you can be wife, you can co-share.
Exactly.
Well, that's different. If you do not believe in this and this is not what you were promised, this is not what you want, then
you leave.
Then you can just leave. You can just leave. These are very heavy questions.
Yeah.
Let's answer, because my time is up. Let's answer the question that has been asked a lot. Toxic soul ties, where can people get it? How much does it go for?
Okay, it goes for 500 shillings for a hard copy.
Yes.
And 200 shillings for a soft copy.
Okay.
But you can get it from you can DM me or inbox me on Facebook at Doreen Eshinali Hamala.
Doreen Eshinali Hamala.
Yes.
That is on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Instagram.
Well, Instagram, if you'll remember, my handle is at Whispers of My Thoughts.
At Whispers of My Thoughts. That's beautiful. At Whispers of My Thoughts. And it's 500 if you want a hard copy, 200 if you want the link. So the book, ebook.
Yeah.
So DM her. Yeah? Doreen Eshinali Hamala on Facebook.
And I deliver everywhere.
You deliver everywhere?
Yes.
Yes.
At a cost.
Ata Mombasa.
Yes.
Tuna deliver Maju. Thank you so much for coming through and for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
And your thoughts in this book. We are taking a very short commercial break. We'll be right back. This is Full Circle with Mwikali. Welcome back, and we have help, guys. We have help. My next guest, she's been here before, and we talk matters, relationships all the time. She is amazing. But before I introduce her to you guys, run the bumper. So on Relationship Circle this morning, we're talking to Judy. Judy Mzungu has been here before. She is amazing. And I'm so happy, especially today, because me and Doreen got questions here and we were just like, oh God, how do we do it? And Doreen was like, I am not married. I've never been married. And I'm not able to answer in that context. Yeah. But you're here. God sent. Was
Glory
it planned?
to God.
We're talking about qualifying relationships today, and maybe you can just break it down for us. So what exactly does that mean?
When you talk about qualifying relationships, I think the first thing that we always talk about, Mwikali, is you must know yourself before you come into the relationship.
That's true.
Then, having known yourself and understanding your core values, it becomes then easier to understand the filter by which you will let people into your life.
Okay.
Many times, many of us make that mistake of getting into situations that we shouldn't even have gotten into the first place because we didn't take time to understand ourselves. We didn't take time to understand our beliefs. We didn't take time to understand our values. We didn't take time to understand our perceptions and why they were formed in the first place.
Yes.
And a lot of these things come from, one, our childhood. But like we said last time, you can always correct the things that happened in your past and then you take a clean slate and begin to write your future based on the understanding of who you are now.
Yes.
Granted, you may not be able to change all the experiences that you've gone through, but you can learn from them and become a better version of Mwikali. Meaning that as you become the better version of Mwikali, then you have a better chance of then dictating what happens in your life. Yes. And that's a conversation we must have so that then we stop ourselves from getting into situations we shouldn't have gotten into in
That's
the first
true.
place.
So it's sort of like putting all these things on a scale and being like, so this is what this particular relationship means to me.
Yes.
This is what this means to me. That
Yes.
means this I will tolerate, this not
no.
so much.
Yes.
Yes.
Or this I won't.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that necessarily we have to stop or end relationships on a bad note. It
No.
means that I can be cordial with you, but I just know I can't allow you so far because our beliefs, our values, our perceptions do not align.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you approach a relationship from that perspective, Mikali, it's a place of empowerment.
So if I am not, you see, most of the times and it's a thing that Zulu, I think, says a lot. We're
Yes.
just checking these things out.
Yes.
We want to see how this goes.
Yes.
And in that seeing where it goes, you have not defined where you want it to go, what direction you want it to go, what do they believe in, what are they about? Are they aligned to the things that I believe in, the things that I
Yes.
want?
Yes.
So when that doesn't happen at the beginning, then you're sort of like setting up yourself for, more fights in future, because itakuwa haukuniambia mimi
Yes.
ningejuaje,
Yes.
but you had an opportunity to talk about these things. But I also like something that you say, Judy, that I can't have that conversation if I'm not having it with myself
With
first.
yourself first,
It needs to
especially
start
many
here.
times for women. That's
For
where-
women.
yeah, for
Tumelemewa.
women. Most of the time, we don't interrogate these things. We find ourselves in those situations. Then now
Yes.
you start saying, you become a victim. You understand? But if you really do take time to know yourself before you even, when you know yourself,
Yes.
you'll stop yourself from going to check out things.
That's true.
But when you don't know yourself, every telephone call is equal to a date.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
If you really know yourself, you understand.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean,
And
yeah.
it makes things easier.
It makes things easier.
Easier.
And then you stop constipating on cups of coffee. Let me tell you, Mikali, once you know yourself really well, hey, you don't need 3 cups of constipating on cups of coffee, because
You've been having too many of those.
you're having too many coffees out there. You understand?
Yes.
You don't even know when to stop. You don't even understand the value system. Let me tell you, and that's why the older you get, you don't need 2 cups of coffee, 2 dates to know whether this thing is going
No.
somewhere or not. It's
Yes.
because you learn how to evaluate yourself. And it's an important conversation for us to come and empower the younger women especially.
Yes.
And maybe even the men will benefit from this conversation.
And even where these dates are happening, like even from phone conversation, you need to know if this one I will sit down with or not.
Exactly.
You do not just have to show up because they asked.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't have to.
Thank
It's
you.
like the way you talk to me on phone, I don't think.
Yes.
They will tell you, you need to carry your own bread. Okay,
But you see, it just means it can only come if you really have a value system.
Okay.
It can only come if you've really taken time.
How
to
do I put in place this value system? Considering probably I'm starting to do this now. I'm sitting at home, I'm listening, I'm watching Judy on TV,
Yes.
and I realize, easy value system ni vitu gani?
Easy value system ni vitu gani? There's a way that you can interrogate yourself even before you even go to ask anyone else.
Yes.
There's a way you can sit with yourself, Mikali, and ask yourself, first and foremost, where did I come from? How does the setting where I came from, how did it
Yes.
impact my
Yeah.
life? Then now you think, this is what I saw with my parents. And this is what I liked about them.
Oh, it goes way back.
It goes way back, because
Yeah.
let me tell you, your belief system, even about relationships, about the next relationship, about the way you will interrogate life, started by the way you began to see the environment around you. Some of it may have been right, some of it may be wrong, but it's important for you to have that conversation with yourself so that you know, this I want to carry with me, or this I probably don't want to carry with me. This I can correct. And that gives all of us a sense of hope, that it doesn't mean that because you came from an abused marriage, therefore you'll go into an abused marriage. No. If you can sit down and have a conversation with yourself and then begin to interrogate those things, it's an opportunity for you to correct what happened to you in the past and then move with the positives and begin to write a new script for your life.
So if you don't do these things, you're sort of like mostly setting yourself up for hurt.
Yes. And because as a society, we don't have those conversations, we don't talk about it enough, it becomes a cycle, a pattern that goes on and on and on and on. And all of us are falling into that victim mentality. That, I guess, that's the conversation we come to change. That's why every time I come here, I'm excited
Yes.
about it.
Yeah.
Because even the feedback that comes from
the show.
Yes, it's just amazing. And for me, I'm like, you know what? Let's go back. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep saying it, Mwikali. Don't get tired. It's a calling.
It is a calling. The guest that was just here before you, Doreen, is an author.
Yes.
And the 2 books that she has authored are stories about herself. And she mentioned something that's interesting and is tied in this conversation. She mentioned that she went to boarding school in class 2.
Yes.
So she wasn't raised by her mom or her dad.
Yes.
And mostly the matrons, and you can't go to them all the time.
Yes.
So she was in a boarding school, primary yote, from
Yes.
class 2.
Yes.
And then high school, she got into a mixed school. Ametoka Ushago, amekuja Nairobi. She was in primary school in Busia. Then she came to Nairobi Aga Khan. It's a mixed school. They're boys. They're saying things to me. My body is changing. I don't understand anything that is happening to me. And the chance she got to get into a relationship and leave home, she did. And she was in for 4 years in a very toxic relationship that she actually ends up writing a book about it. But when she looks back, she's like, I had nobody to talk to.
Exactly.
I did not know what love looked like. So whatever this was, for me, it felt like love.
Yeah.
But looking back, she's just like, I think love should be better than that. So it goes way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes all the way back.
And you know that's a gap that, as the media, you understand, you see the responsibility that's out there.
Yeah.
Because there are very many Dorins out there who don't know better. But you're Auntie Mwikali right here.
I know, and
I'm Auntie Judy.
Yeah.
Talking to these people and saying, you know what, there's still hope. It doesn't mean that because you went through, it's a traumatic situation to be separated from your parents. That's the truth.
Yeah.
And many people who have gone through boarding schools when they were much younger, when they come out, it's actually, they don't have a very beautiful story to narrate. But it doesn't mean that they cannot then learn from whatever it is that they went through and say, you know what, I went through this, but I can heal. Because there's a feeling of rejection that comes with it. And because of the feeling of rejection, that's why now they tend to try to cover the gaps of the void that they feel in their lives with probably the opposite sex, and not having experienced fatherly love in the way that she would have experienced it. She should have experienced it.
Yeah.
Then it makes her want to fill the gap, but in all the wrong ways, because she doesn't know better.
That's so true. I wish you were here for that conversation. So for her, she went through healing by just writing the book.
Yes.
And she was just like, I read this book, her own words. And she kept crying until one day the tears were no longer there. And she felt like, now I'm done. Now I am done.
Yes.
So people deal with different things differently. And sometimes we walk into relationships having not had that conversation with ourselves. So we don't know what to expect, what to anticipate, what I need from this other person, and what I am bringing to the table as well.
And it's an important, it's first, like someone now think about a Doreen situation. First, she just needed first to evaluate her own situation.
Yes.
And then having evaluated her own situation, begin to think what is important to me. And let me tell you, in as much as she went through that traumatic experience, there was a script, a canvas that God deposited in her. How would she know that canvas? For example, she would watch TV and see Mwikali and think, I like Mwikali. Then if she's careful to interrogate what is it that I like about Mwikali, she can begin to see this is the thread that leads me to Mwikali.
Okay.
That's how sometimes, those are some of the techniques that we use as coaches to help you, guide you to what you could have missed in your childhood. You understand?
Yes,
that's how you begin to look at your core values. It is deep calling unto deep.
Okay.
As you go through life, you will encounter men, you will encounter women that then you will begin to admire, that will become a source of inspiration to you. Some of them you will never interact with, but maybe you're seeing them on TV. But then they are beginning to speak into a value system that is embedded deep inside of you that you don't even know.
Okay. Let's talk about us getting into this relationship and, having made probably the right decisions at the beginning. How then do I enrich this situation that I'm in, this relationship that I'm aware of, that I got in intentionally? We are on the same page, me and this other person. How then do I invest or enrich it as we go?
first and foremost, before you even get into trying to enrich it before you go, you need to understand that all these people, everyone that you encounter in life, and that's the thing that we miss out as a society or as people. That's a conversation that we miss out on. Okay. Just to be able to understand that, Mikali, you are a stranger when I came here in January. As we move along, you have moved into an acquaintance to the place that when you see me, you say, hey, Judy, thank you that you have come. Yes. Why? Because the level of our relationship is moving.
Yes.
But then, because many people don't interrogate the way a relationship is supposed to move, guess what? You meet a stranger and you begin to confide in them. And because love was not modeled to you the right way, you begin to pour yourself out. Isn't that also what is happening on social media? Where people are just busy on your inboxes. Hi, 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 hi. And you think Cupid has hit home. Are you seeing?
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
The 5,000 people that Mark Zuckerberg has given you as a limit on Facebook, they are not your friends. No. They are strangers. You must see it that way, especially as the young generation.
You have many boyfriends. There's a lady who came on the show once and said that kuna wale ameka general na kuna wale kwa DMs na kuna wale primary. So just depending uko side gani anakutreat with different.
Yes, na hata ye mwenyewe. Yes, ye mwenyewe, when she has these 5 DMs and sijui general and what, she doesn't even have a value system by which now she is checking now to move you from one level to another.
Yeah.
Do you know we have reduced relationships to tall, dark, handsome, financially stable, all 36, 24, 36. Are you getting it? It's not about value systems. Just laugh, Kali.
What?
So, that lady of primary and general, she probably just looked at their profile. What do you do for a living?
Yes.
Where do you live?
Oh, I'll tell you who it is. You will definitely, I agree.
Are you getting it?
Yes.
No, you see.
I see.
That's where the challenge is. It's because we are not first understanding when you encounter people. They are strangers, period. You will only now begin to filter them and move them into acquaintances by the fact that now you're continuing to relate with them. Then they become acquaintances. Your co-workers, most of them are acquaintances. But Mikali, if you don't know better, you will come and tell them about your relationship challenges.
Yes, or end up dating them just because they are available.
Yeah, exactly.
Leo, who you kesho next week, because you do not know.
You don't know. But then the moment someone tells you, you know what, no, that's an acquaintance. They are not your friend. And it doesn't mean that these even 5,000, you can be a blessing to them. Now you're a blessing to people who are watching you. You'll think Mwikali because some are calling you Mwikash. You think you think
those words, it's so true.
Yeah, you think they're your friends.
No, they're not.
Do not be fooled.
Do not.
Before long, Mwikali, you have a problem and you're airing it on social media. You think that